Welcome to Big Blend Radio, where we celebrate variety and how it adds spice to quality of life.
Oh.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Big Daily Blend podcast. You know, we love to celebrate every day on this show. And you know what? July is National Ice Cream Month. And Nancy and I said, wow, we got to do this. And last episode, our first Sundays are shared with our co-host, Johnny Schaefer, who's an incredible musician, composer, singer, award-winning. So I encourage you to go to his website, herejohnny.com, not like Here's Johnny. He's not in that movie. But, and I don't think he wants to be, right? But welcome back, Johnny. Nancy and I are glad to have you back.
Yeah.
Hey, Nancy and Lisa. It's so glad to be here. I'm really excited about all the wonderful guests we have coming on today. It's great to be here again.
And we said we're going to, yeah, it is happy summer. Last time we were on the show and you were like, hey, well, we're talking about ice cream. And then we're like, well, let's have an ice cream social. And then, you know, I realized that some people actually don't know what an ice cream social is. So I know we're going to get into that history. Nancy's got some Nancy likes to dig into history and go down rabbit holes. And I know some of our guests do too, but I'm going to bring our guests on, but good to have you back on the show and talk about ice cream. We all scream for ice cream.
Yay.
And, Van Halen has a great ice cream song if you like Van Halen. So, and so does Sarah McLachlan. She says your love is better than ice cream, but then that's really a big claim. That's real love then. I'm just saying it's a big love, but she's touring right now. So just on Music Live.
Yeah.
But we've got some amazing guests joining us. I'm going to bring Chuck and Michelin Westman on this show. They are innkeepers and owners of the Bird and Butterfly Inn in Jasper, Texas.
Cool.
And it is gorgeous. We need to go and see them, but they've been on our show a couple times. The first time we met Michelin, she was on a show talking about baking for soldiers. And this is a program that innkeepers do, and anyone can, where they bake goods and they send them off to active soldiers out in the field now. And it's an amazing program. So encourage you to go to their website, thebirdandbutterflyinn.com. All the links I talk about on the show notes, herejohnny.com, the Bird and the Butterfly Inn, thebirdandbutterflyinn.com. All of them are in the episode notes. So no matter where you're listening, you can access them there. So welcome back, Michelin. How are you?
We're good. I just finished my ice cream. Chuck is sad.
Yeah, Chuck,
I'm usually not a very good sharer, so I'm usually looking for people who are eating slow. And I've got a fast spoon.
Well, I heard, Chuck, that you are the instigator of sweet things for breakfast at the inn. Is that true?
That is true. I find ways to incorporate the homemade caramel sauce that Michelin prepares and to put it on apples or her homemade whipping cream and things like that. So, but I'm also known as the non-share host. Because I tease the customers about how I am going to eat theirs off their plate, but you know I usually don't. But
he's famous
I do tease
for we have some big doors that go into our kitchen, and so when I'm going to whip the whipping cream, I'm usually doing that while they're on their fruit course, and so we close the doors to keep it quiet, and then Chuck comes out with like the babiest, tiniest spatula. And says, okay, now does anyone want whipping cream? And it literally barely even has one lick on it.
I love this. I love this. You see, sweet, it's good. I want to go to Erin Youngless is back on the show. She is a writer. And that's how I first met her. I think we met Erin when Twitter started. I think she was one of our first true friends, social media friends, when social media was when you actually talked to people instead of ranted and raved. And we've known her for a while. I think I even knew you, Erin, when you were not even in LA yet. And now she's a genealogist and she helps people dig up their family history. And she started doing some of ours. I don't even want to talk about that yet. That's for another show. It's some weird stuff, man. All I know is it's weird, but you can go to genealogybyErin.com. That's ARYN. So welcome, Erin. How are you?
I'm well. Thanks for having me today.
Well, thanks for digging up dirt on our family. Like,
Well,
can
anytime.
you pick what dirt you want to dig up? Like, honestly,
gosh,
like
I
there's
have so much dirt to add.
yeah. I kind of feel like we need to do like a family history
Seriously?
ice cream, a family history ice cream where we can put chocolate crumbles for the dirt to kind of ease the
No,
pressure.
dude.
We'll make
You know,
Sundays, certain
Yeah.
Sundays that apply for different types of family history.
Yeah, I
Maybe
like
yours
this.
is Rocky Road.
Yeah,
Uh,
and that would be Nancy. Nancy loves Rocky Road. That's her.
I love Rocky Road, but I have to tell you, at one point in my history as a child, my dad served ice cream and plates and put it on the floor, and you had to compete with the dogs to eat it. And
Oh, that's real nice. Hello. See,
But
like
no,
when we
but
talk
it was
about weird
funny.
family history,
because
there you
no, but what was funny about it, he thought the dogs would like attack. They didn't. They licked, and they were like, "Let me lick your tongue because you got more than me on the last."
oh no.
No, but it was weird. I had a weird family.
All right.
Yeah.
I'm gonna, all right. I'm
Yeah.
gonna bring our next guest on because we don't, like I said, that's a whole other show and everybody's going to be dying for that.
What?
And, Phil Boswell, our friend Phil and Andrea. Andrea, we've known them for a few years and Andrea's been on our shows with her art. And I encourage you to go to her website, Andrea Faye. It's Faye. AndreaFaye.com and look at her amazing art. She's a ceramicist, jewelry maker, but Phil is an all-time ice cream lover and he's listened to all kinds of weird stories coming out of Nancy's mouth, right, Phil? It's all Nancy who does these stories.
I have heard some stories. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Sure.
that one was another one, wasn't it? I didn't even know until this happened. So, you never know what happens. You bring up the words family history and weird stuff comes out, skeletons. You know what I mean, Phil?
Well, yeah, I do indeed. But I think as a genealogy, nobody remembers the relative that worked hard every day, raised a family, lived a good life, and died. They want to know about what happened, the people that did strange things and got into trouble and all that stuff. I think that's what the people like in their genealogy is those folks who were a little bit on the fringe.
Well, you know what?
Mhm.
Then just Aaron's going to have a good time with our family, right, Aaron?
Yes,
but
I don't agree. I think a lot of people want to hear about their ancestors who did phenomenally wonderful things,
Yeah,
or
that's true,
who were
too.
just caring and
Or not.
or not. I mean, you never know. You never know what you're going to find.
Yeah, no, I think, it's the stories that get out there are always the eyebrow raising ones. But when you really look at people that are hardworking, I think we all respect that. And I think that's kind of what this country is also part of in a way was let's get out there and have a good life for our family. Do you find that, Aaron, as you're doing research, that it's people really just want to know, like, hey, where did we come from? And it was about people finding a good place to actually just live well with quality of life, not necessarily rich and fanciful, but actually just have that quality of life. Wasn't that part of it?
That was a big part of it, especially with the immigration that started in the late 1800s, early 1900s. Most of those people were escaping famine or just looking for work because they didn't have it. My family in Italy, they didn't have anything. They had beautiful landscapes, but nothing to eat. So coming to America meant jobs, actually coming to Canada, and then later on to the United States.
And then when you think about this, we think about Italy, we think gelato, and then you're talking about your family not having anything to eat. That's like tragedy right there. Like it's hard to think about, right?
Mhm.
But we
Yes.
go to Italy like, oh, let's go have gelato. But what do we know about the history behind that? So as we go in, I want to bring everybody on the show, but I want to get into that history part because ice cream socials, this is a historic thing that happened in our country. And it is something that even, there was like this episode where Thomas Jefferson first had an ice cream social at the White House. There's history. I think it even predates ice cream socials predates the actual, our America becoming America, the United States. It's kind of interesting how old this goes back, and it was a real treat. So I know Nancy's got some of that, but I'm going to go over to Eva Eldridge, who is a travel writer and editor in Tucson, Arizona. We've known her for a long time, and she makes ice cream. She can, like I put in an email to all of you, she can cook just about everything, and she's even learning how to do mole really well. So keep up with Eva at evaeldridge.com. So welcome back, Eva. How are you?
I'm glad to be included in this ice cream social.
Well, since you've been making ice cream, that's a whole other thing. Like we were all going to talk about ice cream, but you're making it.
That's cool.
Do you have an ice cream maker? From when I looked at it, it didn't look like an ice cream maker. Some people just put a bunch of ingredients in ice cream maker, but you're actually making it, right?
We're making a custard. It's from the New York Times recipe stuff, one of their master ice cream recipes, and then you can modify it. There's a bunch of modifications. So the first batch was strawberry. I made from organic strawberries, and it's a custard-based ice cream. It's not diet friendly. It tastes like heaven, especially the strawberries. And I don't like strawberry ice cream, but this was with fresh strawberries and there's nothing like it. And then I just made a batch of organic black cherry ice cream.
Oh my gosh. Okay, wait. I got to go to Chuck.
Want some.
Chuck over at the Bird and Butterfly Inn. What do you think about this so far? How are you feeling?
Chuck had to step out. We're working on a real estate deal.
Oh, wow.
Chuck is
Don't sell the inn. Do not sell the inn. I'm just saying. We have to get there. So don't sell it before we get there.
No, it's not that. He is all for ice cream. He loves ice cream. He will eat it 3 times a day if I'm not watching. And for our last wine dinner, our final dessert was a cherry, an Amarino cherry and chocolate bread pudding. And we made Amarino cherry ice cream from scratch.
Yummy.
If you do not know this, KitchenAid has an attachment, it has a special ice cream bowl.
Yes.
That you put in the freezer, and it has a churner on it, and it's really easy.
It's really easy. That's what I got, and I love it. And
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, because you don't have to have an extra device, right? There's not storage, but I can store the bowl.
And ours just stays in our freezer in the garage, so it's always cold.
Wow.
Lisa, we need one.
Yeah, we're going to do that on the road. But I want to bring our next guest on the show. I know. I just do want to go, Phil. Do you want some cherry ice cream? Like what? Come on, strawberry.
I'm ready for the cherry ice cream. I'm eating some homemade banana ice cream, and it's fantastic.
Oh my. See, I love this that people are eating ice cream now. Let's go to Rob Taylor. He is the owner of Stafford's Chocolates and Reimers in Central California. So Stafford's, let me just back this up. We met Rob quite a few years ago, about 8, 9, he said, before we started recording. And he had a store in Porterville. And at that time, they were making truffles with local wine, and then they moved downtown Porterville. And this is the thing about Stafford's. They have what's called the Ooey Gooey Bar. Now, all I'm going to tell you is, I don't care who you are in the world, you need an Ooey Gooey bar. It is like, it looks kind of like a small ice cream, kind of like if you had an ice cream on a stick. It's marshmallowy. There's a chocolate crust. It's just, it is the ultimate of goodness. It is a treat, and you do not want to share it. You want your own Ooey Gooey bar. You could be romantic and share it, but then the second time, no, it's yours. You know, you could do it one time.
I can vouch for that.
You know what I mean, right?
Yeah,
you'll share it once.
Oh yeah, they're awesome.
But you share it once to be nice, but then that only goes so far. Like, no, this is mine now. The second one is mine. And then they have now expanded, and they've expanded in Central California, and Rob can talk about that. But they have Reimers now. Reimers is an institution for anybody going in and out of Sequoia National Park in Three Rivers, California. And that is a gateway. And it is, Three Rivers is just awesome too, because it's like an art community that truly runs. There is no downtown. It is a riverfront community. And Reimers has like a gift shop, Christmas store. You can go out on the deck and see the river. You go in, you can get all kinds of ice cream. They have a giant gorilla there that our little mascot, Priscilla, our sock monkey, hung out with. They have all kinds of ice cream, but they also have chocolate. They make Stollen. If you are German, of German descent, you can get, or who cares where you're from? Just go get Stollen for Christmas. I mean, come on. We watched them make it there, and now Rob and his family own this. So welcome back, Rob. I don't think you've been on have you been on a show, or we always did it in person, recording wise? I can't remember anymore. It's been a while, but welcome back.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I think I've just done recordings. That was the best commercial that anybody could ever do for me right there. Thank you.
I'm hungry. I'm hungry. And you guys
do you make the ooey gooey bars? Do you make the ooey gooey bars? Can you order them online? I'm one now, just the other side of the country, and just listen to the description.
Oh, you'll love this even more. When we bought Reimers, we bought 3 locations. One is on the way up to the Sequoia National Park. You can't miss us. And another one's on the way to Yosemite as well. So we're covering 2 gateways there. And we've just the last couple of months introduced a new ice cream flavor, which is the ooey gooey ice cream. So it's the ooey gooey bar mixed up in vanilla ice cream.
Okay, wait.
Chuck is booking a plane ticket right now to fly to California.
I know. I'm just going, this is kind of crazy. But do you ship? I mean, I know it's hot in the summer, but do you ship, like if Phil wants the ooey gooey bar and doesn't want to drive to California, because he cruises apparently in Europe, will you ship? Do you do that with Stafford's at all, or how does that work? Or do you have
we do. We ship all over the world. We've shipped ooey gooey bars to military bases everywhere.
See,
we have some friends here in California who have relatives in Japan, so we've shipped them there. You're right. It'll tough in the summer when it's hot. It can be done, but just to be safe, it's better to ship when it's a little bit cooler. Happy to ship some to you, Phil.
You have the website?
We do. StaffordChocolates.com.
Well done. Go. Phil's just helping me on this promotion.
Rob is going to make $1 million off this phone call because everybody's going to get online and order these silly bars.
I love this. Don't forget Reimers.
Looking at the pictures.
ReimersCandies.com.
Stafford. What is Stafford's? SKFFORDS?
Yes. Yes. Reimers is a separate website. We just bought the business back in November, and the website's being redone right now. So there's not much on there except all of our ice cream flavors. That'll be up in another month or so. But yeah, Stafford's will get you. We'll show you what we have as far as chocolate goes.
So everyone, Stafford'sChocolates.com. That's the place to go. Now here we have Cheryl Ogle coming on the show. Cheryl is on our show every third Wednesday talking about travel because she's a travel advisor, but she also knows Tulare County very well, which is where Rob is based out of, and Johnny Schaefer is from as well. So we have Tulare represented. And I got to give a shout out to my friend Dawnette Silva Carter. Nancy and I are, we would never know Rob if it wasn't for Dawnette. Dawnette is a tour de force. Can I just call her that? Like, I know she's not on the show, but and she will, she will promote everyone and everything that has to do with Tulare County that is doing the right thing. And she is a huge supporter of Stafford's. And also got to give a little shout out to Rosa Brothers for her out in Tulare. So Rob, before I bring Cheryl on, does it help to have this abundance of fruit, vegetables, nuts, dairy in your backyard, which is Tulare County is like the breadbasket of the world, not just America, but the world in your backyard? Does that help?
Oh, it's huge. True. Yeah, totally. You can taste the difference between an old nut and a fresh nut. Everything's grown within a half hour of where we make all of our ice cream. We make all of our chocolate confections. Yeah, it's huge. You can truly
That's
taste the
amazing.
difference.
That's
And I don't
amazing.
want to-
And your son is still working at because I remember interviewing your son too. Like he was doing a bunch of work there, and he's still part of it.
Oh yes, he's gone on and become a master chef and
Wow.
a big time chocolatier over on the coast at our shop over in San Luis Obispo. He's kind of specializes in custom stuff, does a lot of stuff for wineries and hotels, things like that. So
You know what?
a
It
lot
was
of vegan stuff as well.
Do you know it was 2012 when we met you? 2012. It
Wow,
just dawned on
10
me.
years.
We were with
Love it.
Donette, and it was the beginning of our Love Your Parks tour before we went on the road 100%. Linda Kassam was with us, and we were talking about the 8 keys of excellence, and you did a whole segment on integrity. That I'm going to link that. I'm going to find that on YouTube somewhere and link that in the episode notes for people to see, because you and your son, and it was just you were carrying on the tradition of Stafford's itself. You had just purchased Stafford's at that time, around that time, and you were very loyal to the family that had Stafford's before you. I remember that, and keeping the integrity was all about that. And I think that's the same with Reimer now, right? Am I right about that?
Oh yeah, Reimers goes back over 60 years. We're the fourth owners. The original owners were a couple called I can't remember their first names. The Huffacres. Huffacres sold to the Reimers. The Reimers sold to the Bretts, and then to us. So it's, believe me, we when we bought the business, I received several phone calls, emails, texts. Said you better not screw this up.
Yeah,
So-
same as Stafford's, right?
Yeah.
Didn't you have
Yeah,
that
lot
when you
of-
bought Stafford's too? That was the same thing. You better not screw this up,
Yeah, same
because
thing.
that was
Lot of-
iconic for
lot
the area.
of weight on our shoulders there. Yeah.
Wow. I want
I have a really
one second. Let me get Cheryl on the show. Cheryl Ogle
sure. Okay.
is a travel advisor and owner of Hey Wanna Go Travel. She knows Tulare County very well, so I'm going to bring her in the mix, and then John will go to you for sure. So heywannago.com is the place. Cheryl, you know what we're talking about here, right? With Rob, right? You know.
I do.
Yeah.
And I love that they use fresh ingredients. And I'm pretty sure this weekend I'm going to have to try to get my way up to Oakhurst, because I've looked at the website and seen the pictures, and now I'm over here drooling. So thanks for that. So
This is great. Go ahead, Johnny. Go ahead.
I just want to share a really fun aside. Rob and I go way back all the way to high school. And Rob, I'm going to date us, but we went to Monache High School in the 1970s, and we were in the Monache Marauder Band, and we both played trumpet. And one weekend, the band took over the local radio station, KTIP Radio, and each hour, 2 different band members were the DJs. And it just so happened that Rob and I were DJs together on the show way back in the 70s. And so it's really fun all these years to kind of come full circle and, be on the radio again together. So.
Oh yeah, I do remember that, John. That was awesome, and it's been really fun watching you do your thing over there in Hollywood.
Yeah. But listen, small town, that's that dream, is get out of the small town. But you go back to Porterville all the time, Johnny, don't you? I mean, it's part of your life.
I do.
It's even,
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
went
my
to the
mom's
big
still
city.
there. So.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. You went to the big city, and then you still go back and forth, and you still,
And go to Stafford's and get some chocolate.
Dang, Rob, you're making out here. Like you're doing good.
Man, yeah.
I like this. I want to go to Cheryl. Cheryl, ice cream. This is important because Cheryl, Cheryl, we have conversations every time she comes on the show. It's cake. But listen, there's nothing like cake and ice cream. Am I right, Cheryl? We have to have the two textures. This is the best. Even you could take the icing away of a cake and put the ice cream instead of the ice cream. I mean, the icing, and I'd be happy, right?
Exactly. I had cobbler with ice cream last night at a steakhouse.
Ooh.
So
Yeah.
And you didn't send me the picture? Thank you so much. You're so kind.
I was not in a position to take a photo of it. So,
But
that's all I'll say. Yeah.
I want to ask your guest: has anyone there ever actually put on an ice cream social besides me?
Actually,
yeah, my
Yes.
church, they did several times when I was growing up.
yeah,
Yeah.
and we
Did you
played
And
ever
I
do
think
one?
my high school did too.
We
Yeah.
played, our band played it.
our band played at when we had our
And
band
ice
in San
cream
Diego,
socials.
our band would play in this gazebo. It was our rehearsal, right? It was our rehearsal space, but we drew people. And so we were a rock and blues band in what was called the Heritage Village of Oceanside, California.
Yeah.
And the docents were all dressed up in 1800s period dress. And here we were singing cocaine and, and things like that. But people would come, and actually, I have to say, I think those kinds of things do need to happen, but they would have ice cream socials, and we played at their ice cream socials.
That was
And
fun.
we, of course, didn't charge or anything. And honestly, we shouldn't have either. But, our band was
come on.
cool. Well, later it got wonky, but we did. And the thing was, I think we have, with museums and things like this, ice cream socials bring families together. And then you
Yeah.
have to have an element that isn't just the antique tractor. Now, boys want the girls too. I'm all for the tractors. But you want to have some elements for the younger generation. Our music at that point, we were getting through it okay for the 13-year-olds, but then like rap and stuff, like they'd look at us like, you suck. We want heavy metal, we want rap. But, we were at least something for them to even make fun of. That's kind of how I looked at it. Johnny, I don't know if you've had that experience,
Actually,
but like that's how it felt, But if it
actually,
made
people really liked us.
Yeah.
And you could watch, like, sometimes we look at the audience and like, oh, it's older people. And then we look and go, no, it's younger. And then finally we got to, it's a mixed crowd, and it's all about the beat.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
No.
It
all
was
about
More the interaction and
all around.
Yeah.
It's all about that bass.
It's all about the ice.
beat.
Oh, wait, Phil wants the ice cream. Okay, but it was
Okay,
true.
go
Yeah,
ahead.
and we
But
probably could not. We probably couldn't have an ice cream social at the Bird and Butterfly Inn because there would be no ice cream left over.
because of the guest or Chuck?
Because
But
of
you
Chuck.
don't, but
Because of
that's
Chuck.
okay.
But this is what was great about this at the Village. They actually made it in the antique things. Like they had like old ice cream. Like I can't explain it, but there was these big silver things that they did churning things. And so kids got to see how ice cream was made way back when with salt and stuff. Eva, you know about
Factory
that
ice
stuff,
cream.
right? I think you'll probably understand more what I'm talking about with the salt, Eva.
Yeah, because the salt cools the ice. So you put ice
Yeah.
and then you keep the ice cold and with the
Yeah.
salt. In the old type churns.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The hand crank churns. Yeah.
Mhm.
Well, okay, but then when you're in the Midwest in winter, why do we have to put salt to melt the ice and the snow? Like that it's weird to me. But Erin, you know about the snow and the ice. Ice cream socials, Erin, I wanted to talk to you about that with family history because I feel like this is a way for families to get together, multi-generational, and actually have conversations. Is this a good time to start interviewing your family?
I mean, anytime is a good time to start interviewing your family. But ice cream socials would be a wonderful way to have a family reunion and bring everybody
Yeah.
together. But any
Absolutely.
holiday is actually a really great time to interview your family, and bringing ice cream just will probably lure them in faster.
So bring in the honey. Don't go buy the weird stuff on your family. Bring in the honey.
No, but people are when you give them dessert at the top of the meal before the end of the meal, they melt, and then they're social. Because it breaks the barriers, whatever barriers might be, and all families have barriers, between people because that's what people do. It's a self-defense mechanism. So when you bring a treat, be it pie or ice cream or whatever, it's a greeting and it's a, hey, put down the barrier. And it works.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I like that. Well, and speaking of that, let's go around the room here and talk about ice cream, favorite ice cream. And I know Nancy's got some historical notes. She always goes down rabbit holes and she found ice cream. But let's go around the room and see who wants what ice cream. So Cheryl, favorite ice cream. And then let's look at the combo. Like, what is your favorite ice cream? And then let's go to the second level of ice cream and cake or whatever pairing you want with it. Because some people may want fruit or whatever, and that could be a completely different ice cream compared to the fruit or whatever the side is. So first, ice cream on its own, maybe with a cone. Do you want a cone? Oh, let's go there.
No.
No cone? No cone?
No. And especially if I get, it has to be one of the good pointy ones, not those square. Ugh. What are the other ones? Cake cones?
What about
no cone for me?
Waffles. What about the waffle thing? It's
Yes,
like,
a waffle cone. But
I want that.
Mostly, I'm a purist, but my favorite ice cream is homemade peppermint ice cream.
Mm.
Yum.
I grew up with it. We had that every 4th of July, and my mom still makes it every 4th of July.
Awesome.
That's my favorite, and it needs nothing on top of it. So I'm a purist.
Okay, what
it's
about
so
the
great for
ice cream?
summer? And
Go ahead.
yeah, it's so great for summer, and yet people think of it as a Christmas. At least the stores only sell it at Christmas time, and I've always thought that was weird because it's perfect for summer.
Right.
Yeah.
It has nothing to do with
Yeah.
Christmas. It's all about 4th of July.
Yeah.
They just don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
However, I
So-
remember it snowing in Lubbock and Cheryl running out and making peppermint ice cream in the snow. Am I right?
you're right.
Mhm.
Snow ice cream. Absolutely.
Mm.
We made
Mhm.
snow margaritas
Yeah, we
when
did.
we lived in Julian in the mountains and it snowed. We went to a Chamber of Commerce event in Julian. This is like northeast of San Diego. It's in San Diego County. And we were the people coming from the outside and it snowed and we got into all these snow roads and everything. And I was like, what? Here I am in my little Corolla. Okay, we can make it. And we did. I went up a mountain thing. Anyway, we got there and they canceled the Chamber of Commerce event and it was at our friend's resort. And, we were supposed to
Remember that.
speak and do this whole thing. And here, like, this is odd. Nobody would understand this, but like Nancy and I actually wore high heels at that time, like, corporate gear and stuff from back in the day. This was the beginning of
Because
our
it was
magazine.
old
So this is
school.
like I would say 27 years. This is the very beginning of the magazine when
It was
we were
old
print,
school.
pre-Google, all of that. So we were like, we looked like we came out of the 80s, probably in this weird little mountain town.
It
And we
looked
did-
like Sears catalog.
Yeah. We walk in and we're like, we don't have this weather clothes. Like what? We just came from like an hour down the hill. How did this happen? And it did. And no one showed up and our friends had all like this full on Chamber of Commerce meeting spread.
That was
And
so
they had
much fun.
tequila and margarita stuff. And then we all looked at each other and we have all these strawberries. Let's whip them in the blender and go out and get snow. And that's how we started our like coverage of that area was with ice cream margaritas or snow margaritas. It was so much fun. And that's the thing in life. Ice cream allows you to pause and have a good time. So I'm just going to say that. But I want to go over to Eva. Eva, your favorite ice cream. And we'll get into the pairings later. We'll get into the pairings. Ice cream, and is it in a cone or not?
No
we
cone,
have to do that.
No cone. No cone.
Wow. You guys are all
And
purists.
probably overall French vanilla.
Ooh,
It goes
yeah,
with
like
everything.
real.
French vanilla. Yeah, because it goes with everything.
And
Mm.
it's so
Okay.
rich and delicious.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah. Now, Rob, I want to ask you, since now you have ice cream too, and I have to really bring this up. I know I shouldn't, but I'm going to. There are ice cream places where you could put your cone outside and it doesn't melt. What is going on with that? Am I allowed to bring that up? Like, That you know what I'm talking about? That there's places you buy ice cream and it doesn't melt. Like fast food things, that's not real stuff, is it? Like it's weird. Is that
Oh, it's not real
clunky?
stuff. I will say my wife teaches third grade, and every now and then when she looks for a little treat for her students, then she's looking for that type of ice cream, you find in the store that won't make a mess.
Wow, so it's really not real. It's like a weird. It's weird. Okay,
Yeah, it's not
so
real.
it does
It's filled with
exist.
a lot of waste.
It does exist that others. But if you go to Reimer's, it'll melt and it's real. That's the point about going to real ice cream shops is it will melt, right? It's going to be real.
Especially when it's 100 degrees outside.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So what is your favorite ice cream and do you want a cone?
I'm 50-50 and I change flavors a lot because I get to try a lot. We make our own waffle cones, and I was never much of a cone guy before all of this, but now I would say a waffle cone with something chocolate in it, like maybe a Rocky Road, something with a little bit of a nut. But if I'm going, right my favorite right this minute is just a fresh strawberry ice cream. It's really hot here, 100 and I don't know what it is today, 100 and something today. So yeah, just something refreshing like fresh strawberry or our number one flavor is a dark wild blackberry.
Yummy.
And that's just refreshing. So that'd be my favorite. Somebody had mentioned that about something about their dads or moms. When we were growing up, my dad liked ice cream sundaes, so it was always vanilla with chocolate sauce, a big handful of peanuts, and every now and then, Mom would get throw in some some of the whipped cream that you can spray into your mouth, and a little cherry on top. That's the ultimate for me.
I love a good sundae, but you've got to put marshmallows in it. And when I was a kid in South Africa, we'd have waffles, right? You go to a restaurant, would be breakfast or dessert, whatever you wanted. Waffles were always there with syrup, maple syrup, like like English style, and vanilla ice cream on the waffle. And I've never seen it anywhere else. I don't know if anybody else does it, but all I can say is I'm homesick for that. It is awesome. But like the sundaes do you put marshmallows in this country, or is that just South Africa or where I grew up?
No, Rocky Road. It's called Rocky Road ice cream.
But in a sundae, like an ice cream sundae, do you put marshmallows in this country? We did in South Africa.
Well, there's marshmallow topping that I really like. It's like a gooey. Yeah. Well, a lot of people don't like it, but I do.
Well, I mean, that's cool, but I mean, we want the marshmallows because when they get cold, there's this whole other chewy texture to it. I want the chewy marshmallow check. I want all of it. Bring it. And peanuts. So this is different. That's interesting about different countries. So I'm going to go over to Michaelin over at the Bird and Butterfly Inn in Jasper, Texas, because I think they're like a little hot too over there and they need ice cream. What's your favorite?
We do. We are very blessed to have a local grocery store chain here called H-E-B. And I know everybody knows about Bluebell, and it's probably, I'm a native Texan, so it's probably blasphemy to say I like any ice cream better than Bluebell. But I actually think the H-E-B chocolate chip is the best. But also I typically keep, we joke that Chuck is the outside guy and I'm the inside guy at the property. So he's doing the maintenance all the time. And so I try to keep some, I probably should keep popsicles because that's probably a little healthier, but we keep drumsticks in the freezer in the garage. And so a lot of times after a long day of work, Chuck comes in the house with a drumstick.
Drumsticks are the best. I love the drumsticks.
A drumstick cone with the waffle cone, like when you have that and you have your favorite ice cream in a drumstick cone, That is heaven.
Yeah.
You don't really need very much more than that.
Yeah,
No.
we called those
It's heaven.
cornetos. That was the brand in South Africa, cornetto, and commercials on TV. This opera singer would come flying over and go,
That was
just
so
one
funny.
cornetto,
Cornetto,
give it to me. I don't know. Aaron, it might be part of your family. I'm just saying, from Italy,
No,
who knows?
Cornetto
But,
was
probably sing it
iconic.
better. Yeah, I know. This is amazing, though, the different histories. So, Phil, I know you're eating banana ice cream, but what is your favorite, ultimate? Do you want the cone? What do you want?
No cone, but I'm from Georgia, so you know my favorite. Peach.
It is
Homemade
peach.
peach.
Oh,
It is fantastic. But I tell you, a good. There's a chicken company. I don't know if you mentioned names. Chick-fil-A. If you can mention names, they have that. In the summer they have a peach milkshake, and that's really a pretty good for a commercial milkshake. It's refreshing. The peaches seem to make it a little more refreshing in the summer. But it's 102 here, and I'm eating the ice cream now, and it is very refreshing.
now wait a minute. Like, where did you took us to Sonoita, right? That's where we
Sonoita.
were. Yeah,
Yeah,
Sonoita.
Sonoita.
I don't ever say it right, but this is where you say where The Walking Dead was filmed.
Right.
And this
And-
ice cream. Oh, you took us out. Where did we have that brunch where, I mean, this was the ultimate of Southern food, and you're like, girls, go back in it. It was like a buffet. And I mean, this was like the land of food. I mean, you could have
Yeah,
macaroni
well,
cheese
what-
for brunch if you wanted.
I think it was a small town down called Concord,
That's right.
and they had a southern buffet with vegetables and chicken and everything you wanted. It was and y'all. I think that was the first time you'd been around the small town buffet where they actually cooked the vegetables fresh.
You see, that
And
was good.
It was, and I also took you to the height of sophistication when we went to Barbie Beach.
Listen, Barbie Beach, everyone. Okay. And I had to watch out what I put on social media because, Facebook could take me down.
No,
But
it's so
Barbie
funny.
Beach is like one of the most iconic roadside attractions. If you go through Georgia, I don't care where you are in
You have to
Georgia,
do.
you
have
must
to.
do the detour to Barbie Beach.
No.
They have to. Everybody must go. This was insane. I mean, you've got to be proud, right? Now, come on, Phil. Barbie Beach, someone's house. They decide. I don't know. How did this start? Like, they basically had a bunch of. They created a beach in the front of their house.
Funny.
They put like a beach and they put a bunch of Barbie dolls in there. Some of them are swinging in like fairies on like little wires. And there's Barbies on tanks. There's a Barbie beach bar.
It's
There's
hysterical.
Barbie beach parking on their front. Like they try. And they also have signs, please do not drop off any more Barbies because people started dumping Barbie dolls on them. And so they change out the setting like a rotating exhibit in a gallery of Barbies. So when we were there, it was like towards the end of COVID, and they had this end COVID Barbies with masks, some without masks, and some that needed something other than masks over their parts. That was an eye-opening experience. I mean,
that was hysterical. It was
people
funny.
actually go out of their way to see that. I'm just amazed. It is the biggest nothing that people just get a big kick out of. I don't know.
It's funny because it's funny.
It is. Now, if you were going to do an ice cream named after Barbie Beach, wouldn't you do like Bubblegum or something like that? Like,
you call it Barbie cones.
Nancy, behave. And there were Kens in there, just to make sure there were Ken Barbies in there, not just the girl Barbies. There were a lot of Kens, and then there were a lot of Ken and Barbie action. Anyway, I'm not going to go in there before I get censored. There was a lot of action going on in things that I went like, no matter what angle I took a photo of, I'm like, I can't post this anywhere because it's, but, leave it to your imagination. Barbie Beach is a place everyone should go.
Can I just tell you what a cornetto really means? It's an Italian word that means little horn.
All right. Erin, that's your
I'm just going to
department.
say that that's a funny thing for a dessert name.
Hey,
So no, come on, it's funny.
I want to go to Johnny. Johnny, what is your ice cream?
Well, I fell in love with peppermint ice cream on trips to Disneyland at the Carnation restaurant on Main Street. They had this sundae called the Galaxy Sundae, and it actually had marshmallow topping on it. It's really, really rich, but I always liked that. But then now, here in Pasadena, we have, Altadena, just north of us, there's a place called Bulgarini, and they, the people who own it went around Italy for 2 years and learned from the people in the countryside how to make gelato. And so they have this huge variety of different types of gelato, and they have one that's blood orange that is just amazing. And you can go there and they have this patio, and they'll make an Italian dinner, and then you sit and watch old Italian movies on Friday nights, and then you can pick your gelato for dessert. It's a really fun evening. So if you're ever in the Pasadena area, go to Altadena and go to Bulgarini. Their gelato is just fantastic there.
That's cool.
I got to bring Erin on this because her family history is Italian, and she's talking about they were starving. Erin,
yes.
What the heck, man? Everyone's eating Italian everywhere. Like, that's kind of crazy to hear. Yeah, So what is your choice of ice cream?
Nowadays, it's probably coffee ice cream.
Oh.
But growing up, it was chocolate.
But coffee and chocolate together, too.
It's also very delicious. Yes.
Do you want a cone?
I like a good waffle cone. I hate the cake cones. And growing up, my dad was a huge dessert guy, still is. And he would make homemade waffles and then put ice cream on it for breakfast during the summertime.
Okay, so I'm not nuts. So what is that in South Africa? So that's connected then in some way.
We did that.
Huh.
That was traditional.
Well, I've never seen waffles be served with ice cream in this country. But in South Africa, that was a norm. That
was traditional for breakfast.
Yeah. And if you had crepes, so their pancakes over there are like crepes, because we've got a lot of Dutch influence, right? German, Dutch, Portuguese, and Spanish. And it's a gum, it's like South Africa in a way is like Louisiana in a way. But ice cream on waffles is a norm. That is a normal food.
Normal
breakfast.
That originated from one of the World Fairs. The waffle cone, they were next door to ice cream people. So, and it just over time became the hard waffle cone.
Oh, so this is all connected. Yeah, because their pancakes are not pancakes like how we have them here. There is those are like
it's different.
Like shortcakes. I know you call them shortcakes here, but it's different. Over there, they're crepes. Pancakes are crepes.
They're like they would put ice cream crepes on them. And shortcake.
Yeah, and they're thin though. And so they would have like a pancake breakfast, and then you could get ice cream on your pancake. And which is not your pancakes that you have here. And to me, put ice cream on anything. I'm in. I don't care. I'll try anything. Put it on a burger. I eat burgers with peanut butter and pickles on them. I don't care. Try it. Just go for it.
When I was a kid, my brothers and sisters and I would have like an ice cream cone contest. And you bit off the end of the ice cream cone and see who could suck out the most ice cream the fastest.
Well, this is better than the dog plate thing,
No, but it was funny. It really was funny because, you could hyperventilate before you ever got the ice cream to go down
the head freeze. But listen, the head freeze. Let's talk about the head freeze. Has anybody had the head freeze? And then but it's like a happy joy moment, right? Like you had a good, experience. So we're talking ice cream. Nancy, you dug up some ice cream history.
Well, yeah, and it's interesting because apparently it all came from China.
Mm-hmm.
And because China was the first country that learned how to freeze things. It wasn't really about ice cream. It was more about freezing things and keeping things cold. And they called it, I love this, edible water.
Oh, wow. That's not what we're doing now.
No, and no. So I'm looking at this, and then the Italians came along and went, let's put some sugar in the cream and make it yummy.
Good job, Aaron's ancestors.
Yeah.
God love the Italians.
And no, and they made it, more tasty. And so then it became a dessert. So, they say that the first people who froze things were in Persia in 550 BC.
Wow.
And they called, but they only did ice, and they called it ice houses, ice pools, and they were able to do ice, and this is so weird. They served ice, not ice cubes, but ice, crushed ice, with a sprinkling of sugar on top. And that was the beginning of sorbet or sherbet.
Well, and sherbet. And I want to tell you, you just brought something up. In the show notes, we're going to put a link to an ice cream sherbet guide of recipes. And we even have an article on the Ice Cream Museum in New York City that people should go to. And you can even make your own ice cream and name it when you go to the ice cream museum. It's pretty cool. So, just so everyone knows, and the sherbet and sorbet, right? There's sherbet, there's sorbets,
sorbet.
And it's great because if you're a vegan, you want to have something that's maybe non-dairy too. Rob, do you do anything for those who can't have dairy ever? Or is it just like, this is a dairy thing and that's that? Like I don't know if you can replace dairy. Can you?
Oh yeah. Yeah, you can. We have some. We have a few vegan flavors, sherbets,
dark chocolate,
sorbets and stuff.
Sherbet, yeah.
We do. Over in our shop in San Luis Obispo, our vegan chocolate is really kind of our specialty. So we do a lot of that. Ship that everywhere too. That's good stuff.
Oh, well, here we go.
So you can do sherbet and have the same flavors as you do in ice cream. The only difference is adding the cream and milk.
Isn't sherbet and sorbet like one of them, like kind of like a cleanser, a palate cleanser that people use after dinner or something? They just kind of have like a spoonful and then
it's just
go
yummy.
to brandy. Oh, okay. I thought it was always a palate cleanser, one of them. I don't know. I don't know. Well, I don't know anything.
Can you make ice cream? Can you make ice cream with like almond milk or silk milk or that type of stuff? Is that how you make the vegan ice cream?
Wow.
I don't know the answer to that.
No, what about you, Eva? Eva, have you tried?
Not yet, but I imagine you can make, if it'll freeze in the freezer thing. I mean, you're freezing fruit juice or you're freezing, I think the sherbets are just more fruit flavored. It still has milk in it. So replace the milk with your milk substitute. I don't know why it wouldn't freeze.
Yeah, it might not be as
will
creamy.
freeze, but they call it ice milk.
Like an ice milk.
But there's no milk in it. That's what's so weird.
Yeah,
but I've been looking at this all day.
It's not going to be thick and creamy, but it will still be something you can have.
It's like
what? There is coconut. Yeah, coconut milk. There is coconut milk ice cream.
Yeah.
That's vegan.
Yeah, I see that a lot.
Yeah.
Because
and so
but that's today. That's today we have that. And we had it back then, like way back in the 1600s, but they didn't name it that. But when people make ice cream today and they say coconut milk, already says, like when you say the word milk, it sounds like here comes the cream, the butter, the
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
but plants have milk. I mean, we have milk thistle for that reason, because they do produce it. That plant does actually have milk, and there's plant. I mean, you pull a leaf and it's got milk. I mean, I grew up like that's got milk. Doesn't mean you should drink it though.
No, you shouldn't.
No,
You should not.
most milky plants you don't drink as a human. But coconut milk is like, it's clear, it's different, it's lighter. I do want to go to the history of, ice cream socials, according to Wikipedia. So
Oh boy.
and I refuse to read anything from AI. I refuse. But history, ice cream socials are so this is from Wikipedia. So this is a gathering of people writing it. Doesn't mean it's 100% correct, but ice cream socials are a traditional gathering dating back to the 18th century in North America.
Yeah.
The first one recorded in America was 1744, where Maryland Governor Thomas Bladen served ice cream for a dinner party. Good for him. The first one in the White House was in 1802 when the third U.S. president, Thomas Jefferson. So that's pretty interesting history. When you think
he
that-
liked ice cream.
and actually, as we are recording this podcast today, which airs on July 7th, today is National Refrigeration Month. So I want to give a shout out to refrigeration, because we had those ice boxes before. Even the Southwest, the desert Southwest had those metal boxes, and people would strap ice and do what they did. It's actually pretty incredible how refrigeration has worked over the years. And the lack of refrigeration has also led to the world of spice and herbs and everything, right? Like you could be eating rotten meat, but you don't know because it's spiced and it's going to come out in the morning. But anyway.
Yeah, well, that's what curry was the spice that kept meat longer.
And
or at least you didn't know it was going to make
ate,
you sick when you ate it.
No, but it did marinate it, and it did eat at things.
Yeah, it kept the meat more edible longer than if you didn't put curry on it.
But this whole thing is really fascinating when you think about this history of refrigeration. So we stayed at a bed and breakfast back during COVID. The Leonard at Logan House. I'm gonna have to put a link to them too. Ruth Andrus can cook like you wouldn't believe.
Yeah.
She's an amazing chef,
man.
But the history of this house, and this is the thing about bed and breakfast, you go in, they have stories. The story of this house was the gentleman who was working in refrigeration, and he invented what is on the inside of our refrigerators. His wife complained. She's like, you're in the refrigeration industry. You're selling this. You're doing that. And they're in this huge brownstone house, right? Aaron, you're from the Midwest. You know what I mean about those big brownstone houses, right? Those mansions.
Yes.
Massive. Beautiful garden next to a house that was designed by Frank Lloyd Wright. And Frank Lloyd Wright walked out on his apprentice and basically, because Frank Lloyd Wright always had temper tantrums with people and left, and the apprentice finished the house. So it's kind of a half Frank Lloyd Wright house. But anyway, this refrigerator is in there as this example. And this is incredible because where do you find this history, right? This woman kept nagging her husband, I can't clean the refrigerator on the inside. Think about it. It's metal on the inside at those days. You have a shelf, you have metal, and this was brilliant because we had electricity at that time, and she couldn't clean because anything would stick to the metal. We all know that, right? It's going to stick. You can't clean it. It sucks. He is the one who did the actual inside of refrigerators that we can now wipe things off. And that came out of a bed and breakfast. And we would never know that stuff if it wasn't for that bed and breakfast. It would be lost in history. And I find that fascinating because even Rob, what you're doing, like, could you know what I mean about walk-in freezers, right? If you spill something in a walk-in freezer, it sucks.
Uh-oh.
It sucks.
Yep.
It sucks.
Yeah.
So that guy who did the whatever white stuff on the inside, whatever it's called, he rocks. I mean, that's
coating.
amazing.
It's a coating of chemicals.
Oh, but think about that, how it changed households. And I mean, it changed everything, but does a museum have that in there? Probably not. It's sitting in a bed and breakfast in Grand Rapids, Michigan. So if you go to Grand Rapids, Michigan, go to the Leonard at the Logan House. I just wanted to give them a shout out because they're keeping that history alive.
Yeah, it's a beautiful place.
And she'll make you ice cream if you want. Seriously, she'll feed you. But I thought that was the history is everywhere in unexpected places, and it's stories of people.
Mm-hmm.
And when we talk about ice cream socials, that's what it is. It is a history of people gathering together. So I'm going to get to this. I talked about pairings, right? So I want to go to a ice cream pairing of each of you. Your ice cream, a pairing, is it cake? Is it a waffle? Whatever, right? I'm obviously into waffles, but who do you want to share ice cream with at an ice cream social? Let's build one. Someone that you could sit down and have an in-depth conversation. Maybe it's heartfelt. Maybe it's a family member. Maybe it's someone you want to learn from. Maybe it's Einstein. Who knows? Maybe it's Jesus. Who knows? Who do you want to have an ice cream social with? And we're going to all get to have this meeting of minds at an ice cream social. And the good thing is when someone talks at an ice cream social, they have their ice cream in their mouth, and the person who's speaking speaks, and the rest has their ice cream in their mouth. And hopefully if it's good ice cream, like from Rob's, the ice cream's going down your chin. So Johnny, let's start with you. Who do you want to bring to the ice cream social?
I was hoping you were going to ask someone else first.
No, you're the co-host.
I've been thinking about it.
You're the co-host, and I've been talking over you the whole time. See, I'm really good. You got to butt in, boy. You got to butt in.
I guess I would have to say, my mom, she's not with us anymore, but I fell in love with ice cream from my mom. Like she loved it, and from the time I was really young, I think of my mom when I think of ice cream. And so I think that I would love to sit down with my mom and have a bowl of ice cream again. That's just I associate my mom with it. And she loved mocha almond fudge ice cream. And so I think I would love to share that with her, maybe with some hot fudge on it. She also really loved hot fudge. And
so the hot fudge
that would be a really nice.
Yeah, is that your side, or do you want a cake? You want cake? Come on, bring some cake in there.
Oh, you know what? Yeah, actually, it's good with cake too. Yeah, yeah, especially my mom. Yeah, she loved really dark chocolate cake, and then fudge, and then mocha almond fudge ice cream on it. Yeah.
Ooh,
yeah, that would be great.
Oh, Cheryl, what about you? You see how I'm pushing the cake? We should open a cake store together.
Oh my goodness, that would not be good for the diet.
No.
I would say it's my mom, because going back to childhood, we had homemade ice cream. We had a pool in Dallas. And so we were out at the pool. We would have the ice cream, going, and we loved picking a piece of the salt off and things like that. So really my memories are with her, and we will have her favorite, which is strawberry, because it's only fitting. So 4th of July is coming. Maybe she'll have me over for some ice cream.
But I love that you're saying that you're picking the salt off. So that's like real true.
That was fun. And I'm weird. I love salt anyway. So
I know, and salt on dark chocolate. That's
I'll make ice cream when y'all come. I use a little Ninja Creamy and make small batches of ice cream.
Salt picks off the sugar content and it makes it better. It's a good ingredient.
It counteracts it, basically.
Yeah.
Well, Nancy, who do you want at the ice cream social?
I have to go with my grandmother, who used to, she took care of us kids when my parents couldn't, and we'd go live
As you
with
can tell,
her.
Nancy's family was a little wonky.
Yeah,
you can
Monkey
see it. I
Steve,
call them
yeah.
her family, if not
And
mine.
so she would come and rescue us. And especially my brother and I, there were other kids, but she just rescued my brother and I because apparently we were the troublemakers. Go figure. But
In other words, you ask questions.
Yeah, Anyway, she would always start off the day with a bowl of ice cream or a scoop of ice cream on a pancake topped with almonds. And she's like, this will set your day right as long as you're right. That's what she used to say. So as you ate it, eventually you got the message. Okay, I'm eating this, so now I have to be right. I have to do the right thing every time. And you can't disappoint. So she's like, if you get the ice cream, you have to be right. It was your job to be right in your actions throughout the day.
Oh, that's powerful. Nana was awesome. I want to go to Michael.
Now she was.
Nana's awesome.
Big story.
And she was a 4-foot little lady, man.
4'9", little British lady that used to go off on my dad when he was being an ass.
And she
put
drove
her hands on her hip and say, "You want to take me on, really?"
And she rode a motorcycle at the very beginning. She was one of the first women to wear pants. She also drove a Model T Ford to Canada with all the kids in the car as a woman. And back in the 20s or 30s when it first happened.
She got a 1917 Ford and put the kids in it and took them off, crossed the border to Canada and came back and went, I did it.
Yep, and fixed the wheels. She was good. So I'm going to go to Michael in Texas. I don't think Grandma went there yet, but we're there. We got to come see y'all. We have to, but
come in the fall. Otherwise, you'll die.
Yeah, but we want to see the birds in the water because you have a river, right?
We do. We have 1,000 feet of river frontage on the very beautiful Angelina River.
Ooh. And you got a forest,
a big, beautiful deck that overlooks that Chuck did not build it. Chuck designed it. I told him he was crazy. This will never work. And we sit on that deck almost every day.
There is nothing like a good deck. I love to sit out. I want to watch birds. I want to watch nature. I want to that's everything to me.
We get that. We have lots of turtles. We have lots of fish.
Oh, cool.
We have cormorants.
Oh, no way.
Bald eagles.
On your property.
Yeah. Well, I mean, adjacent to our property. Across the river from us, it's about 400 acres. And it's just wild. I mean, somebody owns it, but they hopefully as long as we live, they'll never develop it. And so at night, Chuck used to own a lighting store, and the guy that owns the lighting store now gave him these 2 super powerful flashlights that will shine across the river. So we go out at night and we shine them across the river to go look for little eyeballs to see if anybody's across the river.
Do you get gators?
We have, yes.
Cool.
There's another lake that's south of us. It's Steinhagen Lake. There's a greater gator population down there, but Chuck has an awesome story about, and I caught the very tail end of the actual event where this gator was coming down the river, and Chuck and another gentleman were standing out on the deck, and neither one of them wanted to be the one to be like, "Hey, look at that gator." And so when it finally got close enough, because Chuck thinks everything is a gator, a leaf is coming down, and he's like, "Baby, look at that gator." I'm like, "Honey, that's a leaf." But this gator is coming down.
Sounds like Nancy and I going on our nature thing.
The gator is coming down the river, and it gets in front of them. And so Chuck and this other gentleman are both like, "I don't want to say anything." And they're both like, "Yeah, I know, me too." And as they're talking, the gator stops in the water right in front of them. Now we're about 20 feet up. The river is quite low. The gator stops, turns, makes a 90-degree right turn, and starts swimming literally directly at them. And Chuck is like, do you think he can hear us?
No
And
way.
then the gator was like, oh, it's just dumb humans. And so he turns back, and just as this guy's wife and I got out there, Chuck's yelling, baby, come look at the gator. And so we get out there, and he's just finished turning back, and he's continuing on down the river. He was probably 8 to 10 footer.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love gators. They have wisdom.
Awesome.
Man.
I love them.
We go
awesome.
whenever, like when we go see Phil and Andrea in Peachtree City, we'll go down to Florida just to go hang out with gators, and in the Okefenokee Swamp is my favorite. Oh, I mean, I adore them because they're such ancient sentient beings. I know they kill people and stuff, but there's
when you look at them, they look so prehistoric.
Don't they? They are prehistoric.
Actually, there's 2 species of animals left today that actually are prehistoric: the armadillo and the alligator.
Hey, we have both those guys.
We love armadillos too.
And so the alligator, crocodile, same thing, really. They're only named differently because mankind decided to put
there's some
here,
differences in species. Definitely species.
But they are basically
similar.
They're very similar, yes.
Well, we can see them, and we get to see them in Everglades National Park. You can actually go and see alligators and crocodiles in the same national park, which is amazing.
They are
but crocodiles are in
still
one part.
One of the few species left that actually were here on this land in the prehistoric days.
It's amazing. I look at them, I go, you know more than me. Like what can I get from you? Like what ice cream can I feed you?
I'd like to replace all of Congress with alligators.
Okay, don't get political. No, let's not go there. But anyway, Michaelyn, let's go to you. Who are you bringing to the ice cream social, and what ice cream are you bringing?
Well, both my parents are gone, but both my parents loved ice cream. When my dad got a diagnosis that caused him to give up alcohol, which was very inconvenient because he was a very avid golfer. And so after a round of golf, he and the guys would all go sit around at the club and, drink and have dinner and stuff like that. And so he had to trade alcohol for root beer floats.
Yeah.
So my dad became a great aficionado of root beer floats. My mom was a very hot-natured person. She grew up in Southern California, but she was very susceptible to heat, hated the heat, could not believe she ended up in Texas.
Oh my God, she went from California
so she
to
would
Texas.
use any excuse to eat ice cream. And her favorite was absolutely Rocky Road.
Wow.
And,
see, there it is.
Yep. And so, and my favorite, if I was making my own choice, I would probably do chocolate chip, or if I did 2 scoops, I would be French vanilla and pralines and cream, which was my dad's favorite.
What are you going to have on the side with this?
I might have a cookie.
Oh, yeah. Nice. Yeah. Cookies are good with ice cream. They are, because they have that little crunchy,
it's just
but
like
chewy.
frozen. It's just frozen milk, so it's cookies and like milk plus.
We haven't even got into ice cream sandwiches yet. Oh,
dude, please.
Now, okay, I'm going to Rob. Rob, come on, tell us.
Okay,
who are you bringing?
I'm going to cheat a little bit here, but you talk about ice cream socials. And really how ice cream brings people together. It's just pretty crazy. I drove up on a Sunday afternoon one time to our Three Rivers shop, and there's a lot of room out front for people to sit on rocks and logs and benches and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I pulled up, and there's about 6 or 7 nuns sitting there. There's a Catholic retreat house up the street. About a half a dozen bikers, some families with kids, and everybody all sitting around together eating ice cream. Oh. It was the most beautiful sight I've ever seen. It was. I wish I had the whereabouts to snap a picture of that. So I'd love to be. I wish I was sitting there with those guys.
Oh, I like that.
That would have been a lot of fun. And by the time I parked and got out, the bikers were up and finishing. But they were all just sitting around chatting. I just thought that was the greatest thing.
That people can come together, right, and do that.
Yeah.
That to me cool. is awesome. That is amazing to me, where you can see people come together over something as trivial as ice cream, but trivial is not. You know what I mean?
Well, and I'd like to interject a quick story on Chuck's behalf. Chuck was married before me, and sadly he lost his wife.
Oh.
But when they were very first together, she had 2 teenage children. They were 14 and 19. And so for their first Christmas as a family, she asked him if he had any family traditions that he wanted to bring to their new little family. And so Chuck is a well-documented sweetaholic. And so he told the family that his family tradition was that they would have peppermint ice cream with hot fudge for breakfast while they open their gifts. Now, this was completely made up. It is a way to eat ice cream for breakfast. He thought it would ingratiate him with the teenagers.
Cool.
I'm all for it.
I know. He's crazy like a fox.
Family.
And it is a tradition that continued. And so when we married, because I like to cook, I found an awesome hot fudge recipe. And so I make it every year. And so we still do it. We still get the peppermint stick ice cream, and we do the homemade hot fudge, and everybody gets a bottle of hot fudge. And we all have peppermint ice cream and hot fudge for breakfast.
I love this.
That's awesome.
That is it. That's the whole thing about this as a social. Eva, who are you going to bring to an ice cream social?
Well, unfortunately, I think I'm going to be boring. My biological mother, I never really had I only had one conversation with her, but I love food, and I think my food fascination came from her. I would like to sit with her and have ice cream. I think she'd enjoy that.
Oh, and are you going to have a specific ice cream inside, or just whatever happens?
Cookie. My favorite side is cookies. It would be cookies and ice cream and whatever kind she wants.
Cookies. Cheryl, do you approve of cookies instead of cake? I mean, come on. It's the same.
Absolutely. It's not the same, but I approve. Absolutely.
It's not the same, but it's the same kind of, it depends on the cookie. And we want the baked side. That's all I want to say.
We just want sugar to go with our sugar, right?
And texture. We want texture.
Yeah.
It's the texture.
Bringing up Disneyland again. The Disneyland Hotel used to have this restaurant called Maisie's Pantry, and they had this giant chocolate chip cookie that was heated up, and then they put chocolate ice cream on top of it, and then hot fudge, and then chips, like chocolate chips. So they called it Chips and Chip. And when I went to Cal State Fullerton, like every weekend, a whole group of us would go to Maisie's Pantry and have chips and chips. It was really amazing.
And this is where Cheryl is going. I'm glad I don't like chocolate anymore. Cheryl lost her taste of chocolate, and now she's glad, right? Aren't you glad, Cheryl? Because that would be dangerous.
I know it saves calories. I don't know. My taste buds went weird after COVID. So,
well, in all your travels, you've gone through Europe, and is it different in Italy? I know Erin had to run. She's got things happening on her side, but Italy and places like that, gelato, all of that. I mean, did Europe change for you? Like when you went over there and had ice cream over there, was it different?
It is different. Now I've not been up to Stafford's and Reimers, so I don't know, but it's just such a high quality over there. And I can still tolerate some European chocolate, but I don't crave it, and I just don't care anything about it anymore. So it's weird. But no, when you're in Italy, you have to have gelato daily. It's a rule. And when I was in Croatia last year, sometimes we had it twice a day because they have some great.
Oh my gosh.
Great as well. Well, I mean, you don't want to break the rules when you're traveling. That's not a good idea. So
no, you're on your vacation. So Phil, who are you bringing to the party?
Well, I hate not to bring you up. I've been, especially been from the South, your mama or your daddy. But I'm going to go out. I'm going to go off road a little bit. I'm going to say I would like to have an ice cream with Gandhi, and I'm going to force feed it about 4 bowls.
Oh, cool.
You're going to force feed him during his starvation period while he was on his starvation mode?
Yeah, I think every time I see pictures of him, it looks like he could use several bowls of ice cream. Plus, he'd be certainly fun to talk to. But I'd like to say something about ice cream socials. We have had them in our neighborhood here. And if you have neighbors, or if you even have neighbors that you don't really know or you don't get along with, send out a mass invitation to everybody. Tell them to bring the kids and their grandkids. Go get ice cream, get the toppings. Everybody will enjoy it, and you'll get to meet a lot of people you really don't even know. Sometimes those kids stay around and you get to watch them grow up. And for us, it has been a great pleasure to have met those kids when they were little, eating ice cream at our house, and watch them grow up, go away to college. They come home, they're always ready to talk to you because they remember eating ice cream at your house. So if you have a neighbor that's a little bit, neighborhood that's a little bit cool, it's a great way to get to meet your neighbors and get to know them a little better. And it's a wonderful half hour or hour together that is very easy to do. And I would highly recommend the ice cream social. And if you get Gandhi there, that'd be up too.
But Gandhi, but I think that's really good. I mean, Phil, it's about community, right? I mean, that's why we're having an ice cream social. And isn't that it? Like, Johnny, when we talked on the last podcast, we're like, we need to have an ice cream social. We were talking about ice cream so much, but it can't be just about us picking out ice cream in the fridge late at midnight. We all know about the midnight crawls in the ice cream. Come on, in the we go in the freezer. It's like it's midnight, 1 a.m. I'm going in for the ice cream. Keep it quiet so my partner, my family doesn't hear me. I wasn't the one in there, but it was you. You know it was. And it's fun to sneak it, but it's even better when you can share a bowl with a friend or a family member. Talk. Something that I think a lot of new generation people don't really do well. They need to eat a bowl of ice cream and talk. Yeah.
I actually have a Gandhi story. My grandparents were missionaries in India, and my grandmother put my uncle through medical school by making chocolates and cakes and selling them. And my grandparents met Gandhi, and she gave Gandhi some cake that she had made, and they had a 20-minute conversation.
Awesome. Wow. That is so cool. That is way cool.
Ice cream is the great unifier.
This is amazing. I mean, Phil, look at that. Like, look what you just said and like what just happened. Wow. That's amazing. That's
way cool.
It is very cool. Yeah. And then a lot of things, just like we're talking about, talk to people. Everybody has a story in their life. Everybody has lived life and had things happen, and over a bowl of ice cream, just people are relaxed when they're talking to young people, old people. Everybody likes ice cream, and it creates a nice bond with people. So I would highly encourage that. And Gandhi has always been one of my favorites. He and both Martin Luther King seem to have gotten a lot of their inspiration from reading a book by called Walden Pond. It's very, very interesting where they came from, especially the last chapter. Great book.
Wow. This is, and I go back to this too. Like, Cheryl has the kitchen table, the way, going to Cheryl's home is like coming home. And Phil, you have that too. And even, we haven't been to everyone's homes here, but, the three of you we've been to, and there's something about where people allow you to be home. Eva has it. I mean, it's like you go home. I can't explain it other than you can just be exactly who you are. You can sit down. Half of the time we come rolling in dirty from parks and playing in swamps with alligators and stuff. And we come in, we look like literal hell. Then we shower, and then we'll look partially out of that hell. But it's about actual community and sitting down and having those conversations. And
you kind of make me think of the Golden Girls sitting around eating cheesecake. It was always cheesecake.
Exactly, because but let me tell you,
That's
Eva,
funny.
Phil, and his wife Andrea, right? Eva, Phil, Cheryl will all give you something like back. They will always have a quip back. There's no you ain't sitting there and being all la 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 la. No, they're going to give you something back to they're going to zap you in a good way, be real. It's a very real thing. And that's why we're having this ice cream social, right, Johnny? Is about that. Those communications.
Yep.
It's not just about the sweetness. It is the brain freeze. You have a brain freeze. Come on, God, don't we all love a brain freeze from ice cream or a milkshake, But it is about those conversations. It is that tape. There's nothing like the kitchen table or Eva's barstool table thing in her kitchen. There's nothing like that. Right, Cheryl? You know about that.
I agree.
And by the way, Phil, every time we're in your house, you know where we sit? We sit
around
at the kitchen table. The kitchen table by the tiny TV. That's where we are. Because it's cozy.
That's right. I think people feel comfortable with their eating or sitting around talking, more relaxed. And why I think I would hope that your show would inspire a lot of ice cream socials in every neighborhood and every community around the country. That's what needs to happen. In a time where the country is so divided, what a great way to come together and hug your neighbor's neck and have a bowl of ice cream.
Yeah, and you can put red, white, and blue in the bowl. How about that?
There you go.
You got blueberries, you got vanilla, you've got strawberry,
chocolate sauce.
and we're gonna have to nag Eva for a recipe now. So I'm just saying, Eva, we want a recipe. I don't know if we'll get it out of her, but we'll nag her and see how far we get with it.
It's the New York Times recipe, so I have to credit them.
Yeah. But she makes it her own, but yeah, I get it.
Just need to add 3 different things. A little bit of this, a little bit of that, a little bit of that, and then it's yours.
Well, thank you all for joining us. I think Rob, a lot of people are going to be going to Stafford's. So I think everybody wants the Ooey Gooey bar. So everyone go to staffordschocolates.com or reimerscandies.com. And that's REIMERS, reimerscandies.com. All the links are in the show notes. But Rob, listen, we need an Ooey Gooey bar. So we'll have to get to California or wait until the fall, right? For that. But we want one. So,
well, thank you. Thanks for all the kind words, and happy to hook you all up. No doubt.
We want it. We want to hook up. We want the chocolate infusion. We want the marshmallow Ooey Gooey infusion. In fact, when are you going to make the Ooey Gooey infusion? I'm just saying that's going to be a new product.
I like
infusion.
It. I like some ideas for the infusion. A little bit of rum.
Oh, Nancy starts. See, here she goes. Cheryl. You know how it happens, Nancy comes on shows once in a while when she can, and when she does, she's like, I'm gonna rock it out. I'm gonna rock it out. Cheryl, thank you again, always. HeyWannaGo.com. Where's your next destination for groups that you're taking a group tour?
Ooh, for the German Christmas market. So we're doing a river cruise on the Rhine in December. And some of us are spending a little bit of time in Belgium first and then finishing with a few days in London, because London also has some great Christmas markets. So that'll be in December of this year.
What about ice cream on that? Is there ice cream in that profile? I'm just saying.
Maybe some ice cream along the way.
Come on, the Germans know how to make ice cream, don't they? They do. They do.
Well, sure.
They do. Eva, EvaEldridge.com is the website, and we'll see you soon. We're on our way in a week or something. We'll see you soon, and our ice cream will melt if we don't eat it in the car fast on our way to you from North Carolina.
There might be some in the freezer when you get here.
If you do not leave us at least a teaspoon, I'm going to cry. I'm just
No.
saying. I'm just saying. I might cry, but
Mhm.
I really don't do well in crying. Phil, thank you so much for joining us. It has been a pleasure having you on the show. And
So
I love
much
that
Enjoyed
you,
it. Nice talking to everybody.
thank you. And everyone, go check out Andrea's website, AndreaFaye.com. It's Faye, AndreaFaye.com. She's got, you know what? If you want an ice cream bowl, she'll make it. She's got it. She's
Yeah.
got that talent. Michaelin, thank you so much for you and Chuck joining us, and everybody again, the birdandbutterflyinn.com. Thank you for joining us. It's been fun.
Absolutely.
Thank you. This was fun.
Chuck is happy that he got to eat ice cream before dinner.
See, this is it. It's so
I
funny.
love it.
Listen, I want to meet Chuck because I want to know if he is as bad as I am about sugar. Like, I actually
Worse.
want to sugar off.
Worse.
I don't know. Ask Nancy about me and my
Mhm.
gummy bear habit.
I don't know.
Dude, seriously?
No.
Sometimes I look when we're driving across the country and she's got these big cheeks. She looks like a beaver that just ate a tree. And
So
she's got these
we have,
big
yeah,
cheeks and it's full of gummy bears. I mean, both
it's
cheeks.
bad. It's bad. We have to have a
She looks
conversation.
We'll
kind
have a
like-
separate conversation about how Chuck finishes every sweet thing in our house.
Yeah,
No, but-
exactly.
Okay, but she looks like President Washington.
Okay, that's enough. But he had wooden teeth. He didn't need to have real teeth anymore.
I know.
So then
but
once
he
you
had-
have wooden teeth, you can eat anything you want.
I never thought
John-
about it that way.
Johnny, thank you for inspiring this, ice cream social.
Oh, yeah.
Did we have an ice cream social?
We did.
We did.
We did.
I think we did. Do you have music for this? Or we're gonna just put Van Halen and Sarah
I know.
McLachlan? I think we need some music. I'm gonna call on you
No,
to
I went to a garden party. Everybody
No.
I knew was there.
yes,
a good-
well, I'll put that. That's Patricia Rutler. Actually, it's
that would
another
be
gentleman
so
wrote it.
cool.
But, well, so I'm gonna call you to task, Johnny. We got to put a few songs
Okay.
together. There's
yeah,
no
I
way
have a
we
few
ever
that I
do
put
it.
together.
Oh,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah, totally.
Awesome.
Yeah, yeah.
We can't not have a music playlist for a social, an ice cream
Yeah.
social.
Oh,
We
no,
need
yeah.
music. We need music. It
We'll
doesn't
get
have to all
going.
be about
Yeah.
high school. Yeah, we got to have
Cool.
that. So thank you all. And Aaron, everybody, I want to give everyone, Cheryl wants to pour some sugar on me. Yeah, Def Leppard.
Oh, there you go.
That's a good one.
Cool.
Go, Cheryl. That's perfect. That's
Now I
perfect.
need ice cream. I've been good all day, and now I think I'm gonna have to go get some ice cream. I think I'm headed to the DQ.
I know. I want some
You're killing
chocolate
me.
ice cream.
I know this is bad. And she's in Texas. It's hot in Texas, but yeah, we're going to put a music playlist together for an ice cream social for all generations. We can do that. We can do that. Johnny, you and I can put a music
Oh.
playlist for all generations. Pour Some Sugar on Me is my generation. Heck yeah. We like that. Also, everyone keep up with Johnny at hearjohnny.com. Erin had to go and keep up with her. GenealogybyErin.com, ARYN. Honestly, she started digging into our family history, and you want to know, but then you don't want to know, but you still want to know. It's like that scab you start scratching, Yeah, she's good. I'm just saying. Yeah. And an ice cream social is a good time to interview your family and have a conversation about who, what, and where. So thank you all for joining us for the ice cream social. Don't forget, let that ice cream melt down your chin, down your cheeks, get it everywhere. Let it go down on your shirt because we have washers and dryers now, so we can do that. Thank you all.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, for our ice cream social, we're going over to England to Glenn Burrows, who owns Norfolk Tours. And every time he's on the show, he has a show with us, The English Connection, every fourth Saturday, everyone. So you got to check that out. We somehow end up talking about a Mr. Whippy, and it's not a Mr. Whippy that, the mind in the gutter may go to. But, or a spanking or a hiding, as you say in England, if you're a naughty little kid.
No.
And there's no spankings allowed anymore.
No,
That era has passed.
Definitely not.
That era has passed. But what is a Mr. Whippy, Glenn?
Well, a Mr. Whippy is a cone with a very lightly whipped ice cream, which is more of the sort of the texture of a thick Greek yogurt. And it's an ice cream. And then in that, you normally have a flake. And we call those a 99. So it's a Mr. Whippy ice cream cone with a chocolate flake in it. And that's the sort of thing that you will see people eating as they walk down the beach or as they walk along the seafront, because a Mr. Whippy is really, really popular. And it all runs down your arm because you can never eat it quick enough.
No, you can't, but it's part of it. You want it down your face. I mean,
I
always think the best foods are what goes down your face, down your, your chest. It's, you eat a good peach, it's got to drool down your face.
Try eating a Mr. Whippy with a beard, and that's not easy.
Well, that's why we call them flavor savers.
Exactly. Keep it for later.
So everyone, a Mr. Whippy, that's what you can have for an ice cream social, but you can't talk because you need to shove it in your mouth.
You have to eat it quickly.
Do you have ice cream socials in England?
No, never heard of them.
Okay, it's where people get together in a summer day and all make ice cream, eat ice cream. It's kind of sometimes a fundraiser for nonprofits, that kind of thing. It's like, here's homemade ice cream, real ice cream.
All right. I could invent that over here. That would be quite popular, I think.
I think you got to start an ice cream social. It's heating up in England, isn't it?
Yeah, it's now got lovely. I'm now looking at it from my dining room window, and the sun is shining and it's actually warm, which is lovely.
Well, thank you, Glenn. Everyone, keep up with Glenn at norfolk-tours.co.uk. And if you're going to England, go share a Mr. Whippy. He'll take you around to all the Mr. Whippy spots in England, wherever you want to do. Thanks, Glenn.
See you later.
Thank you for listening to Big Blend Radio. Keep up with our shows at bigblendradio.com.